to me, content marketing is the the best way, probably the only way to build your narrative, your own narrative around what it is that you do. And I believe that like the way you communicate cannot be taken away from you. The way you talk, the way you handle yourself, your mannerisms, your voice, your inflection, your tone, all that stuff is yours and no one can steal it. Anyone can come and create the same exact business, maybe not the same exact business, but you get the idea. If you build a widget, someone else can build that widget. If you have a service, someone else can provide that service. There's a lot of plumbers, there's lawyers, there's doctors, there's all these different people out there. They can all create the same service or tool that you create. The thing that they can't create is the way you communicate that. And I believe in content marketing, it's where you build your narrative around what it is you're doing that is yours and no one can touch it. And so I think more than anything else, that is the number one thing that content marketing is. Now, taking that further, I believe when you start creating your content, and your content can be anything. It can be this podcast. It can be a blog. It can be a video series. It can be the way you communicate. It doesn't even have to be on social media or anything like that. It could be your presentations that you give to different groups and you go around speaking. Now, of course, chances are the best way to do that is someone film you or record you, and then you can go post those on your website or maybe social media. But that library of information, of content, of whatever it is that you're creating is now yours. It's your asset. So a lot of people look at it as like, well, that's going to cost me a lot of money and a lot of time. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but it's an asset. That is yours to keep, to do whatever you want with it. So when we work with our clients and we help them and we write their blog posts for them based on their ideas within their voice, or we help them create their podcasts or their stories or their videos, we're doing it for them so they can take it. They can remove us from the equation at any point, and that is theirs to do whatever they want with it. So that becomes their asset. Their content library is theirs. And that's just, I can't state that enough of how important that is. And then it just really comes down to, what is your narrative? What is your story? Well, I don't know. It's different for everybody. But what I like to do is say, originally our business was founded, and we still do this, is around life insurance. Right? And I know this, and the people I talk to know this. Life insurance is not the exciting thing to talk about. It's a very important topic to talk about, and the things related to life insurance, like disability insurance, long-term care, absolutely. It's got a time and place. It's incredibly important to talk about. The thing is, people don't want to have that conversation. So what do we do? Well, what if you can build a narrative that ties into your business, right? And going on that a little bit, I think, because we're out there helping people protect their business, the protection comes in when we talk about, let's say, life insurance. But also, your content library is your asset. That is your protection of your business, because we've seen this before. If you look at like the health insurance industry in the state of North Carolina, if you were selling health insurance, and I probably said this on the podcast before, you were put out of business if you were selling it direct, if you were selling individual health insurance. They told you cannot make a commission anymore. Well, imagine if you had a content library for yourself and you had an audience. You could easily pivot into other businesses. Well, so the content becomes your insurance policy without it being insurance policy, if that makes sense. So I think that's an important part to understand as well. But now going back off of I would like to say like the tying into your business, and we have a couple articles we could put in the show notes, but when you create something that ties into your business that's way more interesting, and oh, by the way, you offer this product as well, I think that's where you really get the home run from content library. And here's an example. Say you're a photographer. If you're a photographer, you take pictures of families, let's say, and you love taking pictures of kids. Well, you can write about that. You can post your pictures of the other families, because that kind of shows your work, and it kind of like says, you know what, I know what I'm doing. My pictures are amazing. The people that I work with are amazing. I have really good reviews. No doubt about it. That's a really great thing to show off. What if you had a blog or a podcast or a video series that talked about the things to do in the city that you live in? So let's say you live in Charlotte, North Carolina. You could write a blog post every week or every month about the top 10 things to do this week with your family, and you would post that, right? And then you could advertise that on Facebook. So the people reading your blog or watching your video or listening to your podcast are family members with kids. And oh, by the way, they want pictures of their families on their mantle, right? And it's just a different way to go about it. It's unique, and not enough people are doing it. People are doing it, but not enough. And that applies we can go down the line of, you can pick a business and we can come up with an idea around it.
I'm Eric Kasimov, and for all of us here at CADSource, thank you for listening to Content Matters. If you'd like to connect, you can find me on LinkedIn or Twitter. That's it for now.